welcome once again to M Cubed. I am the Motley Mix Merchant, otherwise known as Brian. Thank you very much for joining me today. If it's the first time you've been with me, I am a Canadian eBay reseller. I pick up most of my goods at auctions now, both in person and online. I used to do the thrift store thing, but I found that the prices there just aren't making it worthwhile for resellers, at least not in my area right now. So I'm getting some great deals at live auctions, and what I'm going to do today is go through some of my auction haul from an auction I went to about a week before Christmas. I was taking my time going through things because of family commitments and Christmas time and all that kind of stuff. So I've been able now to organize most of it, and I'm going to say this is part one because I got a lot of stuff. And this time I'm going to talk about a few of the main items, some of the bigger items that are worth a little bit more money. And then in another video coming up towards the end of this week, I will go through some of the smaller items that I've researched and found out some really neat things about. And yeah, it was a great auction. It was the first time I'd gone to this auction house. I talked about it last video, but if you didn't catch that video, it was a new to me auction house here in St. Catharines, Southern Ontario, where I live in Canada, and I had never been there before, but it was great. They do a picker auction before their evening big auction, and so I was just going to check it out. I wanted to check it out. I saw the pictures online that they had, and there were a few things that caught my eye. So I went, and this auction house does it a little differently than my regular auction house in Niagara Falls. They bring out a big table, probably a 10-foot table full of stuff, and then the auctioneer asks people, what do you want to bid on? And people point, I want to bid on that, or I want to bid on that. And then after 5 or 6 items are gone off the table, people have pretty much used up what they want to bid on, and they auction off the entire table. And that's where I stepped in a number of times. I picked up probably 5 complete tables full of things for a grand total of $40. And then later on, I told the story last time, I'll tell it quickly again now. As I'm checking out, because I had to leave, because I had to come home to have supper and get ready for my full-time job, I was at the counter cashing out while the auction was still going on. And they auctioned off some things off a table, and then they couldn't auction off the entire table, so they moved it over to the wall with 2 other full tables full of stuff. And the auctioneer looked right at me and said, Mr. Tableman, how would you like to help me out and take all 3 of these tables for $10? Well, I took him up on the offer. Unfortunately, I had to go back the next day to pick it up because my car was already full. And so I spent at this auction a grand total with fees and taxes about $74 Canadian. I've got a lot of stuff to sell, and I'm going to go through it a little bit. But first off, I want to tell you about something from this auction that I forgot to tell you about in the last video because it already sold. But I didn't sell it on eBay. I sold it on Facebook Marketplace. I picked up for $5 this old vintage cast iron Christmas tree stand. It said Merry Xmas on both sides, and it was pretty faded. You know, there's supposed to be gold paint on the wording, but it was faded off. So it wasn't in the greatest of shape, but it was a really, really neat vintage piece. Because of the weight, I decided that I'm probably not going to try and ship this anywhere. And it was also a week before Christmas by the time I had gotten around to figuring out what I was going to do with it. So I listed it on Facebook Marketplace. It sold in 4 hours. I got $25 for it, so not a bad return for my $5 investment right away on Facebook Marketplace. It took a couple of days for myself and the buyer to work out a time for him to come to the house and pick it up. And I was worried that he was going to get it in time for Christmas and all that kind of stuff. But he said, don't worry, it's not going to be used for a tree. And what he did was, he sent me a picture. I asked for it because he told me what he was going to do with the tree stand, and I thought that was really interesting. And he sent me a picture of the final product, and here it is. He made a really neat candle holder out of it. Some cranberry garland draped around the Christmas tree stand, and a nice glass candle holder there. And I think it looked like he varnished the tree stand because it was definitely a lot darker and a lot shinier than I remember it being. So I don't think just washing it would have made it look like that, but he definitely varnished the tree stand and then put some garland around it and a candle and a really, really nice candle holder. And I thought that was a great, great example of upcycling, and I'm happy that he got it and was able to make a nice decoration for his home in time for Christmas. So that was the first thing from this auction haul that actually sold, and it sold on Facebook Marketplace. So I was happy to get the ball rolling with that one. So Now, I've got a lot of other stuff to show you. First off, if you're a member of the Thrifters and Pickers group that most of us are on Facebook, that was started by Jocelyn, the crazy lamp lady, you may have seen this picture. This was the table of Mary mushroom and mushroom canisters that I picked up at this auction for a grand total of $8 US. $10 Canadian was the cost of this table. So for $8 US, I got that entire table full of Mary mushroom stuff. And then when I got it home, I finally, after a week or so, unboxed it all and put it on my dining room table here, as you see. And there's a lot of them. There's some complete sets. There's some single units. There's a couple of soup tureens. Then there's some wood mushroom figures as well that were already in a box that you couldn't see in the original picture. So all in all, I say there is 12 of the big mushroom canisters. I just want to show you one of them. They've not been cleaned, so yes, you will see dirt on this. This is one of them. It is a single one. I do not have an entire set of these, but the single ones still sell for $15 to $20. I mean, it's big. It's a good 12 inches tall. And all of the ones that I have are in perfect condition. There's not a chip on any of them. There is no cracking, none of the lids except for one really, really big lid that does not go with anything of a body that I have. That big lid has a snapped off piece on its inner bottom rim, but I'm still going to try and sell it because somebody may need a replacement for their rim. So yeah, all the insides and all the insides and edges of all the canisters are in great shape. For my $10 Canadian investment, I saw the estimates. A lot of people saw the picture on the Facebook page. And I'm going to get that out of the way because it's on top of another item. Sorry. There we go. I'm estimating I'm going to get probably in the $150 to $200 range for all the items. There is an entire set of the Sears Mary mushroom canisters plus salt and pepper shakers that go with it. So that'll be sold as a set. There's another 3 identical pieces, but they also have a napkin holder. So I'm going to sell 2 pieces together, and then I'm going to sell 1 piece with the napkin holder as a set. And then there's a few other singles. There's a couple of, as I mentioned, big soup tureens. I've got one listed on the eBay sale already for $45 US, which is getting a lot of traction already. So yeah, the Mary mushrooms are going to keep me busy, to say the least. I've only have the soup tureen is the only one that I have listed so far. I'm just getting around to now cleaning them and listing them and taking pictures of them. So if you're interested in Mary mushrooms and you're watching this video when it first comes out, keep an eye on the Motley Mix Merchant eBay store, and they'll be on there probably in the next 5 to 7 days at the longest. Hope you check it out. By the way, the link to the Motley Mix Merchant eBay store is down below in the comment section. All right, what's next? Oh yeah, another photo that I put on the group which got a lot of interest. Another one of the full tables that I picked up at the auction was a table full of ladies' hats. Now, I couldn't believe that nobody bid on this. As I say, they bid on individual items, and not even one of the ladies that were there wanted one of these hats for $5, because that's what their starting price was. Somebody could have had some of these beautiful hats for $5. Well, here's the picture of the hats spread all over the floor of my living room / dining room. And as you can see, there's a few of them. There is 50 in total. It's pretty much split evenly, about 25 each of the fancier hats, the ones that are bowler type, or what's the word I'm looking for? I can't. It escapes me right now. But anyhow, the nice ones that the ladies would wear to church or a wedding or that kind of thing. There's 25 of those, and then there's 25 of the sun hats with the wide brims and the bright summer colors and made of straw and that kind of thing. So it's a good mix of 25 of each. I've got one set listed. I've taken pictures of about 4 or 5 of them, mostly the winter hats. I did the winter toques or beanies, whatever you want to call them. I did them right away because of the season, and they're on the eBay store already. I'm not trying to charge a lot for them. If I profit $5 per hat, don't forget there's 50 of them, I'm looking pretty good for my $3 investment, because this was one of the full tables of the 3 that I got at the end of the auction. So it cost me about $3.33 Canadian. That's about $3 US, and I'm hoping to make $5 per hat profit, and that's a pretty good return on my investment. So, but this is what they look like. I mean, you can see from the pictures what they look like, but here's just an example. Beautiful black wool. All of the fancy hats are wool, really, really nicely made, 100% wool. This one is a little nicer. It's by a company called Beau Chapeau, which many people know. But yeah, a lot of them with the side embellishment here, with the rose. This one's got a flower with a bunch of extra stringing and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a 25 or so of those, and then there's 25 or so of these, the sun hats. And no, I am not putting it on. This one happens to have a neck string attached, elastic neck string, but that's the only one that does. But yeah, there's some really, really nice wide-brimmed summer hats, and there's one set of 3 of them that are the exact same hat, 3 different colors, light blue, pink, and white, and then there is a orange rim that goes around that can be switched from hat to hat to hat. I think it's orange. But yeah, really, really nice sets. And as I say, good quality stuff, especially the fancy hats. They're really good quality hats, and they're going to sell upwards of $20. I'm listing them for $20 US, plus shipping, another $12 for shipping, because I can't fold these hats, so they're going to be in a slightly bigger box. It'll be light, but it's going to be a bigger box, so it might actually get past the 12 by 12 by 12 numbers. So we'll see how that goes as far as the shipping is concerned. But yeah, that's my hat collection. But now there's also somebody else from our Thrifters and Pickers group on Facebook who contacted me, who only lives about 25 minutes away from me, who has a booth in a flea market situation another 30 minutes on the other side of her, who is interested in buying a number of these hats in bulk. So when she and I are able to work it out and she comes to town for a visit or for whatever purposes, and hopefully she can drop by, and she's going to buy some of the hats in bulk, and I'm going to give her a great deal, because I'm not a hat expert, and the less hats I have to actually list and try to sell and try to price right and research and that kind of thing, the better it is for me. And she knows she can get a half decent price for them at her booth at the flea market. So hopefully that'll work out. I'm thinking she may be able to take, she might look around 20 or so is what she's looking to take. So that would be good. It'd be a good start to selling off the hat collection. And speaking of the hat collection, I showed you in the last video, here's a picture right now, this ugly mannequin head that I picked up. It was part of another separate part of the auction, nothing to do with the hats. And I picked it up as part of a table buy. Ugly, somebody's kid had painted or markered all over the face of it, and it was bright yellow. So what I did was I set things up last week, and I bought some acrylic paint at the dollar store. Use acrylic paint if you ever want to paint styrofoam, because it does not melt the styrofoam. I used a few coats of the cream colored acrylic paint to use as a base, and then I used 3 or 4 coats of the flesh colored acrylic paint to cover up the rest of it and make it look like an actual human head instead of an alien head. And there's the final product. It looks pretty good, and I've been using it for the picture taking of the hats so far, and it's worked really, really well. Looks great with the white background and the flesh colored mannequin head, and then the multicolors on the hats, and the dark hats look great. So that was a great little pickup, and something I thought I was just going to be tossing that in the garbage, but it turns out I needed it for the hats, and it is working out very, very well. And that was my little artistic project for last week, and it's working out great. Now I have that mannequin. I'm probably going to have to repaint it a few times because it seems to be wearing off a little bit with handling from putting the hats on and off. But that's okay. I've got lots of paint left, so I will do that. All right, something else to show you, and it's not something really big right now, but it's a large item. I got this book. You can see it's a sports collector's album. It's got some stickers of hockey teams on the front. Well, this book is full of hockey cards. Page, I just want a couple of them fall on my lap right now. Page after page of hockey cards. Now I've gone through this a little bit, not deeply, but a little bit, and it does contain some complete sets of McDonald's type cards and that kind of thing, which are collectible if you have the entire set. In told, there's about 700 plus cards in that book. That was part of a table that I got for $5. So let's say the cost on this book was $1. I suspect that of the 700 cards, maybe 200 of them are sellable. There's a bunch of them that are nobodies and no-name players that played for 3 or 4 years and that kind of thing. And the cards aren't very old, so they're not really worth anything. But even just regular cards for regular players, especially players that were maybe a captain of a team or well-known or made it to the Hall of Fame eventually or that kind of thing, they can go for even $1 to $2 just on a regular sale if you're just selling card by card by card. So if I can sell 200 of those cards for $1 each, that's a pretty good return for my $1 investment. It's going to take a lot of work. I may try to find somebody who will take them off my hands, even for just a little bit of a profit, because I'm not a super big hockey card expert. But it's funny. A lot of people say hockey card collecting is dead, but then there's others like Gary Vaynerchuk who say it's coming back around again. Be ready. It's going to come back in the next year or two. So we'll see. I'll hold on to them for a little bit and do my research, and then I'm going to try and list them and see what I can get for them. And if I get a few bucks here and there over the next little while, so be it. I only paid $1 for the entire book, so that'll be a good return no matter what I get. As soon as I sell one card, I've made my money back, so that'll be cool. Okay, let's show you what else. This guy. How about this guy? This is a massive ceramic rabbit. Pink ears, pink eyes, pink nose. He's a cutie. Sort of got a half good looking face. I have another, there's 2 of them actually. The other one, he's a scary looking rabbit. I think he's scary because he's been outside and you can see he had pink ears, they're faded. There's a couple of stains around the base where it looks like it was sitting in dirt for a long period of time. So the other rabbit is scary looking. This one at least looks half decent. Now I've seen a bunch listed on eBay that are attributing this kind of rabbit with the pink ears, eyes, and nose to Fitz and Floyd. Unfortunately, there are no markings on the bottom of this rabbit. So I can't confirm that it is Fitz and Floyd. I think the Fitz and Floyd ones are a tiny bit smaller. This one's almost 12 inches tall. But he's in great shape, and somebody will like this on their Easter table or in their garden. I mean, he's ceramic, glazed ceramic, so he could sit outside and not get damaged too much if you don't hit it with a lawnmower or a weed whacker or something. So yeah, I've got him listed for $30 US right now on the eBay site. Getting a lot of views and a lot of action. I think it won't take long before Peter Rabbit there has a new home somewhere. So up next is something that it's puzzling me, and maybe you can leave a comment below what you think this is. It is a very nice teacup and saucer set, except that's not magnified. That's how big this thing is. Look at this. This is a good 5+ inches across. This is 8 inches across. It is made by British Anchor Pottery. By the maker's mark on the bottom, I have determined that this is from between 1913 and 1940. This was made in London, and the style is called Japan. Let me show you the plate straight on. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous design. It's called Japan. It's the same design on the bottom of the plate as on the 2 sides of the cup, but it's huge. Is this a soup bowl? Would this be used as a soup bowl and platter, spill platter? Or is it a display model, maybe, for the vendors that were selling this? Something to put up in their store window, maybe, to show this. But I thought that was pretty cool. This was in a box that I got for a couple bucks, maybe $5 for a whole box of stuff. And I've got it listed right now for, I think I priced up on this. I can't remember. Maybe $29, $30. But again, minimal cost to me, a couple bucks at the most. But yeah, interesting. If you know what that is it just a soup? Is it a soup bowl in the shape of a teacup? That's my big question. That's what I think it is. Either that or it was a display model for use on the shelves and the windows of the pottery sellers back in the day. So anyway, I thought that was really neat. British Anchor Pottery was the maker. So that was pretty cool. last thing to show you for this video. And as I said, this is part 1. Part 2 will be coming up later on in the week. Make sure you hit the bell and subscribe if you want to follow along on the entire journey. And please like this video if you do like this video, so that other people who are searching for this kind of thing have it come up in the recommendations. It definitely gives the video traction the more likes and thumbs up that the videos get. Last but not least, the first thing I bought at this auction. It was one of the few things I bought on its own, other than this and the Christmas tree stand. It is a beautiful McCoy grandfather clock cookie jar. As you can hear the rattling, it has a lid. The lid comes off. It is a McCoy grandfather clock cookie jar. It says USA on the back. You can see there on the one dark side by my head. It is in amazing shape. Not a chip, not a crack, no crazing, no nothing. It is in perfect condition. One tiny little flea bite chip on the bottom inside rim of the lid. That's it. You can't even see it. But I got that. I paid $10 for that because when it was sitting there and they first brought it out, it was one of the first 2 or 3 tables that they brought out. I had a feeling it was worth something. And right away, the auctioneer's helper mentioned when he picked it up that it was McCoy. So even before they started asking people if they wanted to bid on anything on the table, I had my phone. I'm getting really good at the eBay searching on my phone. And I searched up McCoy grandfather clock cookie jar on eBay sold items. And these go for anywhere from $40 to $50 US. So it is up on the eBay site right now. I think I started it at $49. It's down to $44.99 right now. But it's getting lots of action, lots of views. I think there's a couple watchers on it as well. So I'm going to let it sit there at about $45 for a little while. I've got best offer on it. So if somebody wants to offer me a half decent offer, I'll probably take that as well, because I have $10 Canadian invested in it. That's $8 US. And as well, I have put, I think, a good $13 towards the shipping. I have definitely changed my model up this year. I had a lot of free shipping involved with my items last year, especially the smaller items. Well, I've decided that, especially for the bigger items, I am not going to be giving free shipping this year. I think I lost too much profit, a lot of profit, last year by having free shipping included. I mean, I did bump up my prices a little bit, but it really cut into my bottom line. So I am definitely charging at least 50% to 75% of the actual shipping charge on my listings now. And especially for ceramics and for the larger items, I think people, if they really want the items, they'll pay for it. They understand that shipping is not free unless you're on Amazon Prime. So if you want something from Amazon Prime, you go right ahead. But if you want something vintage and something really unique from eBay and from my store, you're going to pay some shipping charge. And that's the way it's going to be. So all these items, as I mentioned, I paid $73 total Canadian for everything. Just the items I've shown you today. I mean, we're talking $300 to $500 depending how many of the hats sell, and if I can sell some of the hockey cards, and what the Merry Mushroom canisters sell for. And I've still got, I want to say, 30 plus items that I haven't even talked about yet. No, I'm not going to show you every one of them, but I will show you some in the next video. So this was a really good pickers auction for me, and I'll probably be going back because I like the way they do it with the table lots. And they do have a lot of stuff. They got a lot of house cleanouts apparently at this auction house. And even for the auction that was just this past week that I didn't go to, I saw the pictures online. I mean dozens of tables full of vintage goods and ceramics. And they're going to be an auction house that I definitely frequent very often when I'm in need of products to sell. Well, that's the end of part 1. It was a really good auction. I've got more to show you. I will combine it with a what sold video next time, because I have sold a few things since we talked last, including a couple of those old actor pictures that we talked about in the last video. There's a little teaser for the next video. And yeah, I'm looking forward to 2020. It's been a good start to 2020 sales-wise. Slow the last couple of days, but definitely started out great from the 1st to the 5th. And I'm hoping that because of the quality of the goods that I'm getting at these auctions, that it will continue for the rest of the year and just grow from here. Anyhow, thank you very much for dropping by. It has been a pleasure seeing you, and I will see you again very, very soon on another episode of M Cubed. Cheers.